Hi there, I hope you're all doing well. This week I wanted a break from painting my high elf fleets purple, so I grabbed one of the Acolytes and I'm going to try a different colour scheme for a smaller force. They were black and white zenithally primed, and I get started with dark green for all of the robes. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been working on. Next up, I grabbed deep green and went over the robes again, just leaving that darker green in the recesses and around the edges. To finish off the green, I used light green to add in some variation and just bring up these slightly raised areas. Moving on to the armour now, this all gets base coated with warm grey. Since the base is a ruined temple like my purple scheme, this also gets done with this colour. Starting to bring up the armour now, I went over all of the raised panels with rock grey, which doesn't look very different on camera, but it's enough to get them to sort of differentiate between the panels right when they become white. Pushing up some of the more prominent panels now, I went over them with Offwhite. Being a white paint, this does take a couple of coats to get any type of decent coverage. Finishing off the white now, I went over the edges and topmost parts of the armor with pure white. This step is pretty much what makes it look like white without actually painting the whole armor white. Now the armor is finished, I get started on all of the trim and the weapons using lead grey as the base colour. This is also used for the base rim, which is a bit light to my liking, but it turns out it's just a test model anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. Adding some highlights to the grey now, I went around with English grey and just brought up a few random parts. I don't need this to be perfectly reflected in the light, as the trim really shouldn't put any attention away from other parts of this scheme. Moving on to the main pop colour now, I use Fanatic Orange to start with, over the blade and all of the gem type things on the armour. Highlighting up the orange, I grabbed Orange Flare and just brought up all of the raised parts. finishing off the orange now, I went around with Flaming Forge Orange and just added a small spot highlight on some of these parts. Getting the metal parts done now, I just used plate armor over all of them. To finish off the mini, I added a few washes, starting with strong tone wash over the base and lightly over the hair. The second wash is a very thin down dark tone wash over the armor panels. This is thin enough that it doesn't really stain, but it'll still add that sharp contrast in the recesses of the panels. If you're comfortable with oil washes, that will probably work better than this. I just wanted to keep it simple for the video. And that will be it for the Acolyte. I like how this scheme came out, but it's making me want to try other schemes now as well, which isn't so great when you're halfway through an army project already. I just have to keep the new schemes for a Grimdark Future quest team, or maybe just some skirmish teams in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You could also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been working on. As always, if you want a closer look at this mini, check out my Instagram page. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoyed. Most importantly though, be kind to each other.